Hello. Hello. Hello everyone. Okay, we're starting. Let's have a little look. Let's see if we can get some people on live. Say hi to people. See what's going on. Okay, right, let's hi Faye. Hi people. Let's try and get people in. Okay, today guys we're going to be talking about how to change your life. It's a big one. It's going to be a big topic. Hopefully people can see me, hear me. Let me know in the comments where you're from. We'll get started because I'm probably going to share this somewhere else. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Laura and I am Law of Attraction Empowerment Coach. I am here for you guys to make sure that I can empower you to become your best selves. And part of that often comes with a life transformation. I find that a lot of my clients that come on board, we do a thing like what the butterfly does. We come as caterpillars and we leave as butterflies. And this is a really beautiful transformative process. And I think it comes with a very big side order of how to change your life. So today I'm going to kind of have a look at some of those things, and we're going to have a think about some things that you can use to change your life. So take it from wherever you are now, which might be unhappy, it might be disempowered, it may be that you have some bad habits that you don't like. Whatever it is, we're going to have a little look at how we can remedy those things with a couple of these good tips. So, let's just take a moment. Just take a deep breath. And we can just set the intention today for this webinar. Just to offer help, empowerment to ourselves and as individuals and to the group, as a collective, and create the intention today to be able to help ourselves to move away from whatever that doesn't serve us and moving into something that does serve us, whatever that looks like. Obviously it's different for everyone. So I wanted to talk first of all about feelings, thoughts and beliefs. And if you see me looking down here, I've got some notes so I don't forget what I'm talking about. So feelings, thoughts and beliefs. What are these things? How do they differ from each other? And what does this have to do with how to change your life? Hopefully we're going to answer that today. We have a feeling. Now feelings tend to be things inside our bodies. Okay, so it could be I feel tired, I feel sick, I feel hungry, okay? They tend to have something to do with our bodies. And this can be that we have a feeling of anxiety, it could be that we are feeling scared, but we have something that happens in our bodies. And this feeling triggers a thought. So we often have a feeling of anxiety and it will trigger a thought of, what do I have to be anxious about? Why am I feeling anxious? Now, if we keep having these thoughts that are attached to feelings over and over and over again, what we often find is that we develop a belief. And this belief could be, I'm an anxious person, I'm just fearful, I'm just shy, I'm just depressed, I just don't feel very good all of the time, I just don't feel happy, I don't like myself. Yeah, these thoughts can happen enough that it creates a belief in us. And this belief in us leads to behaviours, The thoughts that we have can create beliefs and the beliefs can create our behaviours. And often what we find is that we have behaviours that don't serve us. These behaviours that lead us to doing things that we shouldn't be doing. And we know that they're counterintuitive. We know that they don't serve us, but we're not really sure where it starts. And this is often because people don't connect that the feeling creates a thought, that creates a belief, and then in turn creates a behavior. So how do we get out of this? How do we get out of this cycle? Particularly if you've been having a thought for a very long time that has led to very strong behaviors for you that maybe cause you problems. Well, the first thing is to notice that you are not your feelings. Your feelings are often a result of something physical happening in the body, like a chemical reaction, a hormonal reaction. Sugar's a good one for this. I ate sugar, so I feel anxious. I feel anxious, so then I have a thought about being an anxious person or something bad that happened to me once. And then I sit and think about those things that may happen again, about things that could happen that could be bad for me. And then I recognize I'm in a cycle, and then I create a belief from that, a belief that bad things always happen to me. And then I may create a behavior as a result of that. And you'll notice that the whole cycle started with a feeling in your body, a feeling of anxiety that could have started with something as simple as eating too much sugar. Now, often a lot of our thoughts are inaccurate. They're based on things that we create in our heads, the stories that we tell ourselves. And if you can catch it soon enough, you can save yourself from the whole cycle. And if you catch yourself soon enough in the cycle, you can save yourself from a belief, which can stop you creating a habit for a behavior. So, for instance, you may have felt bad once. So you ate something and it made you feel better. So every time you felt bad, you ate something. And so this feeling that created the thought that maybe if I eat something I'll feel better creates the behavior of comfort eating, which can also create a belief that you're a comfort eater. That then creates a habit that reinforces itself through law of attraction. And it starts with us recognizing that we react to our feelings, that we feel something and then we get carried off with that feeling. And this is often because we have, as individuals, become attached to our thoughts and attached to our feelings, attached to these things that are going on inside our bodies, because we are attached to our bodies as an entity. So let's do a thought experiment. Close your eyes if you like. I've got mine closed because it's helping me concentrate. We close our eyes. And I'd like you to sit for a second. Are you your body? Let's try this. I'd like you to focus on the fingers on your right hand side, on your right hand. Your right hand. If I cut it off, are you any less you? Does a part of you leave if I were to cut off your right hand? What about your legs? If I took your legs away, does that make you less you? Your brain is probably trying to think there. Yes, no, it says. Yes, we're our body, we're our body. Oh, no, if you cut it off, no, it doesn't matter, we're still all here. So you recognise you're not your body, okay? Which part of you has to remain for you to still be here? Good question. Which part has to remain for you to feel like you are still yourself? So you are not your hand. You are not your body. So we're not our body. We're in our body. Okay. So that means that the feelings that arise within our body are just like the seats in our car. The seat is not us just because we're sat on it. I am not the car just because I'm in it. So we're not our bodies. So we needn't connect to the feelings that arise within the body. I am tired, I am hungry, I am sad, I am anxious, I am. Okay. Perhaps we could disassociate from those words, those feelings. When I say I am, it's the most powerful thing in the world. I am. God said, I am that. I am. Because what you say I am creates a story for yourself about what you are, who you are, what you're experiencing. So perhaps we could dissociate from our feelings a little and say, my body feels anxious, my body feels tired. We're still connecting to it. My car, my body. But not I am. I am not creating such a heavy association with the feeling. Because I know when I do that, it runs away with me. And I lose control. So, you are not your feelings. What about your thoughts? Are you your thoughts? Perhaps you could close your eyes again. And we shall imagine ourselves as beautiful unicorns. And I'd like you to think about what you look like as a unicorn. What colour is your mane? What colour are your hooves? And you can think about that. And you can open your eyes and you can look down at your hands, at your body. And you can recognise that you are not your thoughts. And so if you are not your feelings and you are not your thoughts, perhaps you are your beliefs. What do you believe? I believe in law of attraction. I believe in magic. I believe in the power of the universe. Those are good things to believe in, but why do I believe in those things? If you were raised somewhere else, in a different time, in a different culture, in a different body, would you believe different things? You would. So perhaps you are not your beliefs. Perhaps we can think about our thoughts and feelings and recognise that those things probably have led to our beliefs in some way. So we can disconnect from these things. And when you're looking to change your life, you must disconnect from these things, because these things are like wild horses that drag you off if you don't let go of the reins. And in modern day, we have been taught to identify with our thoughts, identify with our feelings, that we believe we are these things. And so these beliefs become behaviours that then dictate to us our futures. Now, if you have a thought or a belief or a feeling or a behaviour that is inhibiting your life, I implore you to do these practices that we've just done. And keep doing them until you recognise that you are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings, you're not your beliefs, and you are not your behaviours. You can change all of those things. But it starts with believing that you can change them, and also the disconnection from those things as being part of your identity. Because if you create them to be part of your identity, your ego will attach to them. And so because the ego's only job is to protect itself, to create that illusion of individuality, if you do that, the ego will always try to protect you from losing that part of yourself. So do not identify with your thoughts. I am not depressed. I have depression. Yeah? Change it. People say, oh, I am depressed. Are you? Or do you have depression? Are you feeling depressed at the moment? Don't identify with things in your life that you don't want. Okay? Now, one of the things that leads to a lot of us getting caught off by these wild horses that drag us off are our routines. We have had thoughts and feelings and beliefs, and so we've created routines for ourselves, and these routines keep us locked in the stories. Yeah? You say, oh, I'm just an anxious person, so I always have a panic attack every time I do something new. And so you create the behavior of yourself never to do anything new. So we must be aware that we have routines that sometimes lock ourselves into these things. And by changing your routines, you can change the way that you respond to your life. So have you got a routine in your life that creates a feeling, that triggers a thought, that triggers your belief, that creates your sense of reality and your behaviors in life? Because if you do, you might want to look at your routines. You might want to look at those and see how you can change them up. One of the worst things I see in most people's lives are their morning routine. What does your morning routine look like? For most people, they wake up, they're phone addicts, so they pick up their phone. Their phone is their alarm clock, and so they've trained themselves like Pavlov's dogs to be the first thing to do is to grab your phone, and then once you've grabbed your phone, your nervous system kicks in and just goes, okay, phone, we have an addiction, we check the things, we watch the news, we do this, we do that. And so you're on automatic behavior a lot of the time, and so you need to consciously change the way that you think and the way that you behave to recognize these automatic behaviors to change them. So the morning routine for most people is one that is terrible. You've heard of the hormone called cortisol. Now, cortisol is the stress hormone, and cortisol doesn't just come out to create emotional stress. It is a physical stressor. And so in the morning, you have higher levels of cortisol than you tend to have throughout the day, because cortisol is the opposite of melatonin, and it's part of your circadian rhythm, that you have a peak of cortisol in the morning, and that is part of your waking up process. So you can be conscious of that, conscious of your physiology, conscious of your body, those feelings that may come up. So you can recognize that you're more predispositioned to anxiety or stress in the morning because of the natural reaction of cortisol in your body. This then can change your behaviors to stop those thoughts and beliefs and feelings arising of anxiety that you may have in the morning. So instead of using your phone for your alarm clock, you're going to use an alarm clock for an alarm clock, and you're not going to reach for your phone in the first hour of your day. Because as soon as you do, you're at the will and whim of whatever the universe wants to throw at you with no control. You open your phone up and there's notifications from the bank, from your friends, from Instagram, social media, text messages, work, emails, whatever it is. And every single one of those things that has crept into your life is a potential H-bomb for your day. So this process of managing your thoughts and your feelings and your beliefs and behaviors is difficult because you are being triggered everywhere you go, with everything you do. Modern society has got people trapped in this stress cycle as a result of what society is like. You know, you get up, you got to be somewhere at a certain time, you got to do something, your boss might be angry, you got to be there on time, there's lateness, there's queues, there's traffic, there's food, there's money, there's everything. All of these things can lead you into having an opportunity in your day to losing your grip on your thoughts, your beliefs, your behaviors, and how you feel in that moment. So you need to set your environment up for the win. And so many people don't do this. They're like, oh, I just can't do this, and I just find this really difficult. I'm like, well, what's your environment like? You know, if you're on a diet, do you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to eat healthy right now. Okay, well, what food have you got in your cupboard? But every time I open the cupboard, there's biscuits, there's chocolate there, whatever. So you're like, oh, I see it, and I just eat it. And it's like, yeah, your environment is wrecking you. You're failing because of your environment. And so set your environment up to help yourself to win. Okay, so that looks like, for some people, if you've got a phone addiction, and as soon as you're on your phone, you start doom scrolling in the news that triggers stress or anxiety in you, or you pick up Instagram, and that's, you know, comparison is a thief of joy. You just end up having people who are miserable, or comparing your life to somebody because your mate's on holiday and you've got to go to work. Whatever it is, all of these behaviors create thoughts and feelings within us that reinforce beliefs that don't help ourselves. So you need to get in control of your life, and you need to get in control of your environment at the same time. Because if you set yourself up for failure, you will fail. Okay? There's a reason why people who are doing like bikini prep comps, and, you know, they empty their cupboards and they have every meal batched, ready to go. Because they're triggering their environment to be one for success. So I want you, if you're trying to change your life at the moment, look at where your environment is tripping you up. And this could be a phone addiction. This could be that you have a behavior. It could be that, you know, that you, whatever, you know, if you're trying to, like I said, with the bikini competition or anything, you know, maybe if after dinner you want to have a pudding, so you go, okay, after dinner I'm going to have a cup of tea instead, or after dinner I'm going to go for a walk instead, to change that behavior, change the environment. You need to set your environments up to help you. Okay? So many of us, our environments are wrecking our potential. And when I say environment, I don't just mean your house. Real talk, I mean your friends. I mean your family. I mean your work. I mean everything that's in your environment. You know, we are the sum of our parts. So if you are in with somebody who's depressed and miserable and disempowered, and all your friends are depressed and miserable and disempowered, and your work's really stressful and horrible and horrendous, like, you're going to be all of those things. Because you can't fight your environment. Your environment is so powerful because it triggers your feelings. It then creates these thoughts, and it then creates beliefs and behaviors for you that keep you trapped in cycles for your life. Okay? So recognize that every single day that you wake up is an opportunity to make a new day. And that starts with not triggering yourself, okay, with some of your environmental factors. Or it could be you're having a thought, and instead of letting that wild horse drag you off, you're just not holding on. You're just looking at it and go, oh, I just had a thought about X, Y, Z. And you just acknowledge it instead of relating to it and telling yourself a story. Well, I'm like this, I've been like this all my life, and so I can't change because of whatever. Okay? That's all bullshit stories we're telling ourselves. You can change any day you want to get up. What's your problem? Mental health, doesn't matter, let's do it. We can change it. Change it tomorrow. Depression, change it. We can change that tomorrow. You can change anything like that if you want to. That's a big statement, but like that. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about this evening, or this afternoon even, what time is it? How far long have we been going? 26 minutes. Okay, good. Comparison, okay? Are you a victim of comparison? Are you somebody that compares your life to other people's all the time? And look, we are living in an age where this is not only just happening to us 24/7, it's practically encouraged, you know. Capitalism's built on competition. I don't think there's anything wrong with competition per se, but if you're looking at other people and you're getting upset because they've got more than you, this creates and fosters an environment within yourself that says that you haven't got enough. And so when you're coming from a perspective of scarcity, it just creates more scarcity in your life, because what you focus on, you create. And your subconscious will attach to those ideas that you are somebody that suffers from lack. And so it will keep creating lack for you in your life. So part of those behaviors, I think it is really, really important, is to recognize that some of these routines, some of these behaviors that you do on a daily basis, some of those things that are within your environment do come from a perspective of comparison. And this often can kind of like steal our own accolades, and can also create some really horrible feelings within ourselves of inadequacy, which then creates shame. And shame is probably one of the most difficult emotions ever. I think shame is one of the things that keeps most people trapped in trauma for much longer than needed. So with things like social media, or looking at yourself with other people or in regards to other people, I want you to recognize that comparison is the thief of joy, and that nobody has had your life experience. And so these ideas, when we try and compare ourselves to someone else, particularly where we're going like, oh no, I should be here because they're there, or I should have achieved more because of whatever. I want you guys to recognize that that is, again, a story that you're telling yourself. It's all false. There is no comparison. There is no competition between you and somebody else. I say this about people who've been traumatized, because people who have grown up with really traumatic childhoods were like born 6 feet under in comparison to other people. And so you haven't started on the same level. So how can your lives be comparable? I could compare myself to other people, but I started down here and I've had to crawl out, like dig myself out from 12 feet under of mud, whilst everybody was starting up on the sunny sunshine, So I think you have to remind yourself that these stories that you tell yourself are false. What comparison is there truly to be made between you and somebody else? Because that somebody else has not been through what you've been through. They haven't experienced what you've experienced, and so there is no comparison. So they may seem further ahead in their life or doing better than you in your life, but you don't know what help they've had along the way. It's like Donald Trump. I started with a small loan of £10 million from my father, and you think, and he's like, I'm a self-made man. And I'm like, dude, do you know what I mean? I always get like something in my eye whenever I'm doing things like this. Spirit, I reckon. So, how to change your life? 1. Recognize that your feelings trigger your thoughts trigger your beliefs, and your beliefs trigger your behaviors. All of these 4 things are made up shit that we've made up in our head. We don't have to pay attention to them, we don't have to be interested in them, and we sure as hell do not need to have our lives ruled by them. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is that your environment and your routines changes your mental health significantly. They also change your life significantly. So set your environments and your routines up to help yourself and to make you a better person, not a worse person. And that may include getting rid of friends who are really negative or horrible or not helpful or just bring you the fuck down. And I know that sounds callous, but fuck it. You've got one life to live. Live it for you. And the third thing is that comparison is the thief of joy. So recognize that there is no comparison between you and somebody else's life, no matter how similar it looks. Okay? And that you being where you are is where you are as a result of the thoughts, the feelings, the behaviors, the routines, and the environment that you've lived in. Okay? So if you want to change where you are because you're not happy where you are, because you feel envy over somebody else's position, that doesn't have to be something unhealthy, but recognize that there's something in you that wants to get better, which you can do if you change your feelings, your thoughts, your beliefs, and your routines and environment. I hope that helped, guys. Any Q&A, if anybody's got any questions, feel free to pop them in there now. Let's have a little look what Yogi T says today. Don't wait for heaven to come to you. Create heaven. Ain't that right? Yeah? You don't need to. You can create whatever you want in your life. You just need to You just need to do it. You need to put big girl panties on and do it. Do it. Just do it. Right. I don't think there's anybody else on here now. Any questions? If not, I shall send you all waves and loves and stuff. I'll post this up later if you came halfway through. But good luck, guys. If you liked the advice, if you're interested, please follow. And I've got loads of resources on my YouTube and stuff like that. So check that out via the link in my bio. See you all soon.